Welcome to Raya's Power International 2018. Today I want to talk about fatiguing or frying your central nervous system. It's referred to as the CNS, which is your brain and your spinal cord. You see a lot of this on the internet. It's talked about a lot. The problem is it's bro science. I do not depend on bro science for the information that I disperse to my viewers. I look at scientific journals, scientific papers that have a basis in studies that were done usually at the university level, and I always make sure that the sources are legitimate. I check the sources. Now, in the old days, you would see ads in the magazines for various supplements, and you see some doctor there, his name given, and he's telling everybody that this is actually a, let's say, testosterone booster. It really mimics testosterone. It's safe. This is the real deal. And then you go to the AMA and there's no such doctor. So that's why I'm always particular. I check my sources, and I want to be very, very accurate so that I have a successful YouTube channel. For some reason, folks on the internet that talk about central nervous system fatigue or frying your central nervous system use the deadlift as an example, and I have no idea why. But since I'm a world champion deadlifter, let's use that as an example. Now, if you don't go by the tried and true method of working reps every week, adding 5 pounds a week, 3 reps if you could do 4. You don't do that 4th one. You stay recovered. You ride that momentum into the competition. And that's the only place you ever max out. You do that 1st, 2nd, and 3rd attempts. Your max attempts, your 3rd attempt. And if you notice, then your body your poundages just drop automatically. Now, you also notice that you take a week off before the competition and your poundages are adjusted upward by about 25 pounds through that recuperation. So, and I've seen guys that try to max out every week and either don't make it to the meet or bomb at the meet because they're exhausted. And what happens is it's not that the central nervous system, the brain or the spinal cord is fried. I mean, just think if that was the case, you'd be in big trouble. The probably only way to do that is to hook yourself up to electrical cord, and you'd have your central nervous system fried, right? I mean, come on. What it is it's fatigue, and your body's sending signals. Your muscles are sending signals to your brain and saying, "Hey, we can't take anymore." That's all it is. It's that simple. Now, the idea that the deadlift is any harder on the CNS than any other exercise is ridiculous. Science has told us that. Okay, doesn't matter with bench press, military, squat, deadlift. If you use max weights for an extended period of time, you're going to have that fatigue, and your brain is going to receive that information from those muscles to say, "Hey, we're done." It's as simple as that. Now, as far as bodybuilding is concerned, you can adapt and you can compensate with heavy workouts with a lot of volume and intensity simply by getting enough rest, enough food, supplementation, and plenty of water. And you're going to be able to do more work than, say, the average person, or even a bodybuilder that's fairly new to the sport that doesn't take those things in the proper amount to get the proper amount of rest. Okay, so a lot of the great bodybuilders will tell you there's no such thing as overtraining. It's under eating, not getting enough rest, under drinking water, that is, and so forth. So I wouldn't be afraid of this CNS fatigue or overtraining. And in the first place, most people, probably 95% of those people out there that do train, never even train hard enough to even worry about this. Now, I can give you a case in point of something that occurred at my gym back in the 90s that would come as close as anybody could to this type of result. It's not CNS burnout. It's simply fatigue. Now, I had my best power lifter would come in every day and max out. Okay. And, back in those days, we run a 12-week cycle before a competition and then just recycle. We go to a competition every 12 weeks. And, of course, I was always very careful and would, do my gradual, my increments, my 5-pound increments over those 12 weeks. If I could do 4 reps, I did 3. I'd ride that momentum into the meet, and then I would do my 3 attempts. The third attempt was your max, okay? And then you just let it go. You took a week off before the meet for recovery. That would give you another 25 pounds. You take a week off after the meet for recovery, since you did that max lift, and you start all over again. You start at the bottom and work your way back up on the poundages. Now, this gentleman, like I said, would come in every week, or every day, actually, based on the different lifts that he performed on each and every day, and max out. And he'd go to the meet, and sometimes he'd miss attempts, and sometimes he'd just plain bomb out. One time, he had gotten sick, and he had missed 2 weeks in a row. Didn't train for 2 weeks. Probably the first time it ever happened to him in his life. He'd never taken any time off in his entire lifting career. Went to the competition anyway, and probably did 50 pounds more, or maybe it was 70 pounds more on the squat than he'd ever done in his life, and actually did not learn from that lesson. Continued on down the road, then later on, repeating the same mistake time after time again. But I do want everyone to know that I did spend a lot of time researching this, looking at scientific publications, and I have my own opinion too. But what I learned was from the scientists is they would say you can spend an inordinate amount of time looking to prove this, that there is a CNS burnout, and it's all going to come to nothing, because that's what basically happened to them. They spent all this time researching, experimenting, doing these studies, and there was nothing there. They couldn't prove it. It just doesn't exist. It's just simply fatigue.